to Apron Cooking. My name is Rachel, and if this is your first time here, I would love if you would go ahead and subscribe so you can see all of the delicious recipes I am going to be posting. Also, if you love desserts, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks. Everyone is getting out their fall decorations, pumpkin spice is on sale, everything like that. Guys, it's still like 92 degrees outside. The first day of fall is not even until the 22nd of this month. Can you hold off like a week before everything explodes into pumpkin spice and everything nice? Consider it to be summertime, we're going to do a cool and creamy coconut cherry cake today. One of the first things you want to work on when you're making a cake is to preheat your oven and prep your pans. The recipe that we're making today, the oven needs to be on 350. I've already got my oven preheated, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to prep the pans. For today's recipe, we are going to be using a boxed cake mix. A lot of people feel that they have to make their cakes from scratch, everything from scratch. I don't think that's the case. Sometimes I will make recipes from scratch, but I think it's completely fine to use a boxed cake mix. They turn out perfect every time, so why not use them? We'll be using a white cake mix, and then you'll need all the ingredients for the cake mix: milk, white chocolate pudding, powdered sugar, almond extract, whipped topping, tart cherry jam, and coconut flakes. So I'm going to go ahead and whip up the cake mix real fast, just according to package directions, and then I'll come back and show you how to divide it into the pans. It hurts so bad. Now that your cake batter is ready, we can go ahead and pour it into the cake pans. You'll just want to go ahead and try to divide it as evenly as possible into your two pans. Just kind of eyeball it. And sometimes when you make a cake, there's like a dome that forms as it bakes, and it gets higher in the middle than on the edges. One thing that you can do to kind of lessen that is push your cake batter to the edges more and leave almost like a dent in your pan, and it'll rise more evenly. I'm gonna go ahead and get these in the oven. They'll bake for about 20 to 25 minutes, I believe is what the box says, and I'll show you how to make the icing. Now we're gonna go ahead and get started on making the frosting for this recipe, and you're simply gonna start by sifting your powdered sugar and your white chocolate pudding into a large bowl. Next is simply adding your milk and your almond extract to the sugar and the pudding and mixing that until it's fully combined. Set this mixture aside for maybe about 5 minutes so that it can firm up a little bit, and we'll be ready to add the Cool Whip. I absolutely love almond extract. It's my favorite. It smells so delicious. Our pudding mixture has set for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it has firmed up quite nicely. So we're just going to give it a quick whisk, and then we're going to start folding in our Cool Whip. When you hear the term folding, it's basically incorporating a thicker, heavier substance into a lighter substance. And you'll want to take and scrape from the bottom and bring the heavier mixture towards the top and placing it on the lighter. And just continue doing that until it's fully incorporated. The cakes have cooled completely and we're ready to start assembling. Even though they came out quite flat on top, I am going to go ahead and trim just a little bit. Anytime you assemble a cake, whether it's on a cake plate or a cake board, you want to put a little bit of icing down just to adhere the cake to the plate a little bit better. So just go ahead and remove that parchment, place the first layer. Put a thin layer of frosting on the cake to keep the jam from soaking all the way into the cake. Go ahead and do our fruit layer. What I'm using is the tart cherry fruit spread, I believe it's called. And the tartness works really well with all the sweetness of the cake, so it blends nicely. I'm going to go ahead and microwave this for 15 seconds so it can be spooned a little bit easier. I've went ahead and put some of our frosting in a piping bag with an open star tip. If you don't have an open star tip, you can use a sandwich bag, but honestly, you can start getting a cake tip collection going just by purchasing maybe one tip at a time. Like every time you make a new dessert and you need a tip, just go ahead and buy that one tip, because you can get these for like $1 a piece. Make a boundary that will be holding in the fruit jam so it doesn't seep out. Just do that by making a ring right around the edge, making sure that it's against the cake and not like lifted off from the cake. Sometimes I'll go around and just do a second ring just to be safe. Next, we're just going to spoon our fruit jam. Looks beautiful. Almonds, cherries, and roses are actually all in the same family. I believe it's pronounced the Rosaceae family. And that's why you'll see a lot of recipes that have almonds and cherries in it together, because they blend so nicely. Just going to go ahead and spread that all the way out to where the border is. Very nice. And we're ready to add our top layer. What you'll do is go ahead and take the side that you trimmed. You'll want to flip that over and place it directly on that. You can go ahead and press it a little bit so that settles down in there. Now, just to make sure that the fruit spread definitely doesn't come out, you want to take your offset spatula, butter knife, any kind of spreading utensil you want to use, and just simply go around the edge and flatten that icing against it. Put quite a bit of icing on the top because we're going to spread it out and let it kind of run over the edges. This is one cake that you don't have to worry about getting the sides completely perfect because we're about to coat it with coconut. I definitely am not worried about making it completely smooth because me and my roomie both have to work tomorrow and ain't nobody got time for all that. Cake smoothing, that is. We do have time for work. Once your cake is frosted, you can move on to the coconut and just simply start by sprinkling a thin layer on the top. When you're putting like sprinkles or coconut or anything on the side of a cake, you can like kind of place it in your hand and press it against the side of the cake. Look how absolutely beautiful this cake is. I love just this simple white cake with just a single layer of the cherry jam.